Every time, for who we?
A pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer, pseudo. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. Pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer, pseudo. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling. Who do you believe in? People bringing misinformation when that information ain't disinformation. That's disinformation. Gotta know the difference in information. Get information with the pseudo killer army hunting pseudo. Cause you gotta train your mind to fight against them pseudo judo. People with the scholarship salute, we give them kudos. But the people with that look of shit, we look and see straight through those like telescope. If you ain't speaking fast, we gotta tell them folks and let them know the truth. You bringing malinformation to blast, then you the Ku Klux. Like say, don't talk me to death, bro, where the proof of? Good juju chillin', why you wanna go way bad juju up? Shalom boy got the tank in the cut. I'm in Sosa world plotting on the kick though with Kent. Come in Tiffany gave me the pseudo names on the list and said went and got the low. Anthony got him in the scope, Gullah and goes. He make sure DNA ain't a problem for them folks. Cause a pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer, pseudo. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. Pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer, pseudo. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey.
We're not attacking individuals. We're attacking the information and attacking the methodology. This is a long time coming right here. Let them know that we right there, running neck and neck with all other communities. We will not be left behind.
Okay, here we are. We are back once again for a PK live, and Cedrick Ortega.
Black African power.
There we go. We are back. I'm Miss Tiffany, and we are here to have a debate review with Cedrick Ortega. Cedrick, are you in the house?
Yes, ma'am. I'm right here. Thank you, Miss Tiff, for hosting the show tonight. Juju is off on her adventures. We wish her safe travels and be safe and get back to us in one piece. But thank you again, Miss Tiffany, for hosting this. And it's a classic case of a well-organized lie versus a disorganized truth. And as pseudo killers, whenever we make mistakes, we're humans, and we're not above correction. And in academic discourse, we appreciate critique and corrections. However, these corrections should remain genuine and not be in the format of confirmation bias. So on one of the other channels, which will remain unmentioned, one-sided review was executed, and particularly on my aspect of the debate. And the claim was made that a couple of quotes that I illustrated were not able to be found within the text. Upon review, that's correct. These are actual paraphrases. And if you label a paraphrase as a quote and someone goes back in the text and tries to find it, they will not find it.
Okay.
However, if you're doing an honest review, then you go to the next step. Does this particular phrasing accurately illustrate what the author is trying to say? Is it a mistake? Is it a summary? Informing the other the people that it was indeed a mistake, right? It went on to try and discredit. Now, claims that my whole presentation was generated by AI led me to say, you know what? Let me take my whole debate and put it in AI. So I put the whole debate in ChatGPT, and now I want us to look at what it says. Look, we're going to look at the human errors. We're going to look at what was actually said, and we're going to look at the infamous page 23 on its own to see if I was accurately describing what the author was saying there. And then to round it off, I'm going to kill this whole conversation by doing a little presentation on the fundamental differences between ritual astronomy and astrology. So without further ado, I'm gonna ask you to share my screen. Here we go. Now, so once my screen is sharing, let's go. So I took the whole debate, my whole presentation, and I asked it, please verify, verification and cross-reference my sources. Off the top, Naphtaliya, this is slide one. Naphtaliya, Naphtaliya represents the earliest known example of deliberate astronomical alignment for calendrical use. Verification, this specific phrase is not directly found in E.C. Krupp's Echoes of the Ancient Sky. However, the concepts align with the discussions in scholarly works such as Yekatit M. McKim, Malville McKim. This, if you go into my bibliography, it is actually in my bibliography. So this is a human error. So off the top, if AI produced my work, me misattributing a quote wouldn't have been in there. That's off the top. So that's human error, right? The quote is accurate, but it's a misattributed to the source, right? So that's in there. So that's a mistake on my part. Now, we continue. The next one, the calendar in ancient Egypt is fully astronomical in character. The only apparent astronomical concept is the heliacal rising of Cyrus, which obtained its importance only by its close list to the rising of the Nile, the main event in the life of the Egyptian. Verification, this quote is accurately sourced by Otto Nuremberg. No confusion there. Mesopotamian astrology. This paraphrase concept discussed in Francesca Rosebuck's Heavenly Writing, where she explores the symbolic nature of omens in Mesopotamian. Astrology arose as a divinatory practice, interpreting celestial phenomena and a divine message. The idea is represented, which examines the origins of astrology within divine practice. Verification, sourced, right? This is a paraphrase. We're going to get to that. Mesopotamian chronology, the distinction, verification. This concept is supported by Hermann Unger and David Payne and Astral Science in Mesopotamia. Verification discusses this in astrology, late Babylon period. Further academic support, Mesopotamia, the distinction between astronomy can already be seen in the first millennium BCE. Astronomical ephemeris were mathematical and predictive, not symbolic. Verification, James Evans elaborates in the discussion in the history and practice of ancient astronomy, highlight the mathematical nature of anatomical record. It's a clear, again, verification. It's in Otto Nuremberg's address. Seconds around the slide, astronomy versus astrology. Verification, a paraphrase, Carl Sagan. Find those paraphrases all over. Verification, Clive Ruggers discusses the practical application of early astronomy in the Handbook of Archaeoastronomy and Ethnoastrology, astronomy, noting the later development of astrology. This interactive Zoom in verification, Francesca Rosbach emphasizes the distinction in Heavenly Writing, clarifying the separate development of astronomical and astrological practice. This is verification, right? So he's verifying it. All right. So we continue. Verified sources. Direct quote, direct quote, direct quote, direct quote, direct quote, likely paraphrase. This is wrong. Misattribution. Direct quote, paraphrase, but it's within the direct quote here. Direct or close paraphrase, the distinction between this, all of this verified. Direct quote. Carl Sagan, this stuff is paraphrase, but actually accurately captures his sentiment, but not a word-for-word quote. Based on a theme, Ruggers explored, but not a direct quote. Ptolemy clearly distinguished them, but not a direct quote in the text. Right? And these are all summaries. You see that? Okay. Now, what did I do wrong? Paraphrase statement written for academic points without direct quotation. For example, Sagan, Sextus, and Pyrrhus. Presenters' own words. Many of the thematic claims, for example, astronomy was born a necessity, astrology of belief, are creative synthesis by the presenter based on scholarly material not found verbatim in any cited sources. Recommendations. Clearly distinguish between direct quotes, as you saw up there, the direct quotes, and the paraphrase. For example, the content should, for example, Rosberg argues that. Add to note in your bibliography stating some quotations have been paraphrased. My bad. Now, again, the assumption that I did my work on AI is telling you here incorrect attribution. Correct attribution would have been this. Citation. This should have been the citation, right? So now, I did not misrepresent or the information was pseudo. Everything here, you see, all of it is supported. This is what AI produced with regards to my work. My work was sound. Now we're going to go to the big controversy. Stop sharing my screen for a second, and then we're going to share it again because we're going to go and talk about my summary of the work on page 23. Then we're going to end this nonsense. Oh, sorry. I didn't share. There we go. Now, the use of Francesca Rosberg's chapter 1 was to illustrate that she herself made a distinction between ritual astronomy and astrology. Yes, that is correct. Francesca Rosberg, especially in the heavenly writings, divination, horoscope, and astronomy in Mesopotamian culture, 2004, explicitly distinguished between ritual cosmology or astral omen divination and what is more narrowly defined as astrology, particularly horoscopic astrology. Now we can go through all of this, but now let's go to the summary. Rosberg absolutely makes a distinction between ritual cosmology, deviation, and horoscopic astrology. Verdict. Accurate paraphrase, but not a direct quote. It's pseudo. No, it's not pseudo. It's not a direct quote. It's a paraphrase. It's not a direct quote from page 23, the heavenly writing, but it does accurately reflect Rosberg's argument and position, especially as developed in chapter 1. So yes, I have no problem correcting the errors that I made, and AI said it. When it's paraphrased, note that it's paraphrased. However, to call my work pseudo, your paraphrasing is a sound paraphrase of Rosberg's argument on page 23 and surrounding discussion, as long as it's not presented as a direct quotation. You can safely cite it as a summary of her position, and better if you clarify paraphrase from Rosberg's heavenly work. This is a great tool. And I thank those for doing the video because I would have probably made this mistake again in other debates. Now, this debate, that mistake will never, ever be made by my person again. But nothing here is inerrant. Nothing here is pseudo. Nothing here misses the point. And when we talk about scholarship, if you had 1 ounce of credibility, you would have taken the work and probably put it in your AI and verify. But go on a whole slander campaign for 2 hours about pseudo, it's not there, only showed the lack of integrity, only showed the lack of actual scholarly endeavor, and trying to defame someone for no apparent reason. I'm a pseudo killer. How many times have we come up on this platform and said, hey, I was wrong there. I said this, I said that, and that's wrong. Here, technicality. A paraphrase is never a quote. My bad. However, my paraphrasing aligned perfectly with what the scholar said. The assumption that my work was AI wouldn't have allowed me to misattribute a quote. Like, come on. It's a misattribute. The quote is correct. The authors are wrong. That's a human error. But when you're all fraudulent, when you're all engaging in slander and claiming to be academic, This is the type of stuff you get. But you see, it's nothing that I wouldn't expect from individuals that don't even know what divination is when we're having a discussion about astronomy and astrology. It is with the superficial encyclopedia work that you prepared the debate for my opponent, who didn't even know how to find her Gobekli Tepe slide, which indicated she didn't prepare her work. But that was not addressed in y'all review. Why? Because y'all were the one who prepared those debate. It was a war by proxy that y'all lost. Poor scholarship all around. Now, to end this discussion once and for all, I am going to do my presentation pseudo killer style on what is astrology versus ritual astronomy. Astronomy versus what is astrology. So let's go Windows. Here you go. You know, we always present pretty stuff, y'all. Here we go. Ritual astronomy is not astrology. Why? Religious sky watching is not horoscope making. Definitions matter. Ritual astronomy, observational tracking of celestial bodies used for religious timing, calendars, agriculture, and sacred ritual alignment. Conducted by temple priests aligned with divine order. Astrology. Divinatory systems use celestial positions to predict fate. Look up what divinatory is, because you guys seem to not know what it is. Components, celestial omens, for example, eclipses equal divine warning. Natal horoscope, individual birth chart, and zodiac-based determinism emerged around the 5th century BCE. I'm doing this real slow because y'all in the back of the class seem to have a problem analyzing and dissecting information. Comprehension seems to be a real issue. Next slide. What is ritual astronomy? What ritual astronomy was about? Focus on cultic, calendrical, agricultural, and royal religious functions, a la Egyptians. Celestial observation to align earthly rituals with divine timing. No predictions about personal destinies. Herman Hunger, the Mul Apin compendium contains no astrological content. This came back in my debate again. Only observational astronomy for calendar and ritual purposes. John Steele, Astronomy in Mesopotamia solved cultic and calendrical functions, not personal predictions. Do you start to see the difference in the two? Omens for the king isn't astrology. A lunar eclipse might threaten the king, but it wasn't his star sign speaking. Celestial omens, for example, in the Imanun Anun Elil, concerned the welfare of the state or king, not personal not personal destiny. These were reactive. For example, substitute kings and rituals, interpreted in real time, not via natal charts. Communal and ritualistic, not deterministic. Omens for the king is not astrology. Comparison table. The feature, celestial omens, astrology. Subject, king, nation. Astrology, the individual. Method, real-time sky events. Astrology, calculated birth chart. Actions taken, ritual substitution. Astrology, passive acceptance of fate. John Steele. Omen-based predictions were acted upon ritually, not accepted as unchangeable fate. David Pingree, horoscopic astrology is absent from these early Mesopotamian texts. What makes astrology distinct? Natal horoscope, calculating celestial positions at birth. Use of zodiacs, introduced later in the Hellenistic period. Personal determinism. Your fate is fixed by your chart. Alexander Jones. Astrology marked a transformation from public ritual to private faith. Historical sequence. Francesca Rosberg, 2004, the Heavenly Writings offered a detailed account of the evolution of omen-based divination to horoscopic astrology and emphasizes the integration of astronomy and astrology in Mesopotamian culture. John Steele, 2008 and 2012, focused on the Babylonian astronomical diaries and draws a distinction between empirical astronomy and almanac interpretations. Asghar Abeub, recognized for arguing that Babylonian astronomy was a highly structured science, distinct in method from astrology. Tasman Barton, 1994, in ancient astrology, traced the development of personal horoscopic astrology to the Hellenistic era and describes its increasing complexity and individualization. The period pre to 1500 BC practiced ritual astronomy, nature, seasonal, ceremonial. 1400 to 700 BCE, celestial omens for kings, religious warnings and symbolic. The 5th century BCE, horoscopic astrology, individual predictions and zodiac charts. What the scholars say. Pingree, astrology is horoscopic and late. Steele, omen literature, not natal charts. Hunger, the Molapin is ritual, calendrical, not astrological. Jones, astrology is the shift from public to private meaning. Van Waarden, no natal horoscopy in early periods. Popovich, celestial science is sacred, not deterministic. Am I slowing it down enough for y'all in the back? So David Pingree, scholar astrology is horoscopic and late. His position, Pingree emphasizes that horoscopic astrology, which involves casting individual birth charts, use the zodiac and planetary positions, is a development that emerged relatively late in antiquity. He traced its origin to the Hellenistic period, particularly in Egypt around the 2nd or early 1st century BCE. And we know that the Greeks are who brought that in the Temple of Dendera. For example, we have the evidence. In his work, Pingree stated, you can look at the source there, horoscopic astrology first appeared in the Mediterranean region, likely Hellenistic Egypt, sometime around the 2nd or early 1st century BCE. This is from David Pingree, from astral omens to astrology, from Babylon to Bikaner in 1997. John Steele. Steele differentiates between celestial omen texts, which interpret celestial events as messages from the gods concerning public affairs, and natal horoscopes, which focus on individual destinies based on birth charts. Evidence in his study, Steele notes that the omen literature does not contain horoscopes in the sense of individual birth charts. These are separate developments. John Steele observation and predictions of eclipse time by early astronomers in 2000. Now, harm and hunger. I'm going to go through all of it so that y'all stop calling out my names, trying to gain clout chasing for no apparent reason. When you're making debates for other people, do your actual homework. Don't come now and try to win on technicality and calling me pseudo or trying to discredit me or the pseudo killers with y'all flawed yellow journalism and cowardly and immature behavior. Analyzed the Mull Appin series and concluded that it serves as a compendium of astronomical knowledge used for calendrical and ritual purposes rather than for astrological predictions. The evidence, they state, the Mul Apin is an astronomical compendium, not an astrological text. You see the source there. Alexander Jones, astrology is the shift from public to private meaning. Position. Jones discusses the evolution of astrology from a focus on public omens affecting kings and states to personalized horoscopes concerning individual destinies, marking a significant shift in the application and prescription of astrological practices. Evidence in his research, Jones observed the development of horoscopic astrology represents a shift from public procrastination to private individual concerns. Alexander Jones, Astronomical Papyri from, oh yeah, you could say that, 1999. Bartel van Waden, no natal horoscopy in early periods. Position, Van der Waden argues that natal horoscopes did not exist in the earliest periods of Mesopotamian astronomy, and that their emergence in the later development associated with Hellenistic influence. He writes, there is no evidence of the existence of natal horoscopes in the early periods. They appear no later. They appear only later. Bartel van der Waden, Science Awakening to the Birth of Astronomy in 1974. Now I'm going to read Popoff because I'm tired. So why it matters? Respect ancient context, not modern astrological projections. Counters pseudo-scientific claim about ancient astrology. Y'all a bunch of pseudos. Help distinguish science, religion, and divination in history. This was always a scholarly endeavor. So we are going to look at these distinctions in their correct context. Like my interlocutor was consistently trying to do, was push the narrative of ritual astronomy as if that was astrology. That is pseudo. That, my friends, is pseudo. That is pseudo. Ritual astronomy was sacred, public, and symbolic. Astrology became personal, predictive, and deterministic. Y'all need to learn to either conduct yourself as professionals, know what you're actually talking about, and not try and go out of your way on a whole 2-hour barrage trying to discredit me and or the pseudo killers. Every claim that you made, every single one, other than pointing out my error, which I owned up to without any problem because it was obvious. A paraphrase is not a quote, and you cannot confuse the two. It's a technicality. But to go on a whole 2-hour parade and make yourself ineffectively look ridiculous when I did this in how much? Half an hour? It shows your fundamental lack of integrity. I'm going to continue to say y'all have comprehension issues, doubling down on the same narrative. And again, if you're going to engage in a proxy war with the pseudo killers, make sure you do your actual homework. Because once more, again, y'all continue to fail and you have that ugly egg on your face. Wear it. The difference is you're such and such. We don't mention such and such. Keep providing us with content because we will continue to teach as pseudo killers do. That's our mission. We will make mistakes and we will own up to them. But calling people pseudo because you're illiterate, because you're ignorant, because you don't understand what the subject matter actually means is not on me. And to go on your slander campaign unnecessarily and have egg on your face. Again, your claim was that my work was pseudo. It didn't represent what the scholars were saying. So now we gonna double down on that, right? We're gonna leave everyone seeing exactly that. Ms. Tiff, share my screen one more time, please. When I told you it was a summary of chapter 1 while you were live, look at it here. Look at it here. Verdict, accurate paraphrase, but not a direct quote. Didn't I admit to it's not a direct quote? This is not a direct quote from page 23 in the Heavenly Right in 2004, but it does accurately reflect Rodsberg's argument and position. Who's the pseudo now? Who's the don't know what they're doing? Y'all sit there, smug grin, sounding ignorant as all hell, and ignorantly bliss. The three of y'all are clown show in full effect, trying to discredit me. He's solo. Let's put it in while I told you, and going on and on your yellow journalism. But it does accurately reflect Rosberg's argument and position, especially as developed in chapter 1. Isn't that something? Don't you feel as dumb as you actually are right now? I tell you don't do this. It's not necessary. You're going to make yourself look stupid. You called yourself a bunch of uncivilized people by choice, and that is becoming more and more apparent every time you speak. The belligerence, the disrespectful nature. You went to the point to call me a crackhead. I told you we didn't have a crack epidemic in the Caribbean. But that's the extent to your belligerence when you are fundamentally and structurally wrong. Who's the pseudos? Again, accurate paraphrase, but not a direct quote. This is not a direct quote. If my work was done by ChatGPT or any other bot, do you think these discrepancies would have been in there? That it wouldn't have made that a summary or said, hey, that's not a quote or whatever. But this is human error, right? But it does accurately reflect Roxburgh's argument and position, pseudos. Y'all read the chapter and couldn't reach to that conclusion. But of course, you don't know what divination is, so you wouldn't be able to reach to that conclusion. Now I'm gonna ask you to take the video down. I want it up there because everyone can put them together and see what real scholarship looks like and what kind of egg y'all got on your face. Here's what Rothberg says on and around page 22. She clearly separates celestial divination from theological cosmology or mythological worldview. She argues that Babylonian celestial divination developed into a distinct system of knowledge, one that was systematic, technical, and based on interpretive rules, even as it remained theologically grounded. She explained that astrology, particularly horoscopic astrology, was a later and distinct development, emerged as a more formalized, individual-focused practice. Ritual astronomy is not astrology. The idea that the gods communicate their intentions and judgments on human beings through celestial signs marks a point of departure from Babylonian astrology, page 22. And Babylonian astrology was not an attempt to construct a causal model of nature, but a divinatory hermeneutics based on signs. These passages support the paraphrase conclusion you drew that astrology as divination was a specific interpretive system distinct from general religious cosmology or mythic explanations of the heavens. Conclusion. My paraphrase, the pseudo killer's paraphrase, Cedrick's paraphrase, the paraphrase that I concluded after reading chapter 1, preparing for the debate, which y'all in 2 hours couldn't seem to get together. Your paraphrase, the pseudo killer paraphrase, is a sound paraphrase. paraphrase of Rajberg's argument on page 23 and surrounding discussion, as long as it is not presented as a direct quotation, which we admitted to. You want me to play when you said, oh, he said it was a summary of a position, and better if you clarify. You see, I'm getting from ChatGPT paraphrase from Rosberg's work. So now if y'all still play 2 hours saying he should have said he should have paraphrased, and because he said he's not paraphrased, he's not being 100% real pseudo killer, because a pseudo killer wouldn't make a mistake like that. And we say, well, pseudo killers are human, make mistakes all the time. But that whole pseudo rant y'all went on, that ignorant rant y'all went on, only illustrated how ignorant y'all are, how ill-equipped, and how targeted and biased y'all are. Why y'all have it out for the pseudo killers? We don't know. Quite frankly, I don't care. But anytime y'all attempt these things, y'all insist on showing how ignorant y'all are. And y'all name reflected. Please, if you're going to come at the pseudo killers, come correct. If you're going to base your arguments, make them sound. But to say that my summary was pseudo, it illustrates your ignorance and just how pseudo you actually are. Now, please, run along. You had pseudo quotes. You see, again, they're doubling down on their ignorance. Look there in the chat. I put up the whole debate, everybody's side. So now, watch, go do whatever you want. My job here is done. Pseudos are going to be pseudos. They are going to double down on their ignorance. This is the last I'll speak on it. As a pseudo killer, I think we've cleared the air. We've demonstrated that they actually still do not have a clue what they're talking about. So with that, Ms. Tiff, I thank you. This was short and sweet. It needed to be said. Y'all need to stay tuned to the pseudo killer sometime this week, where we're going to address Napaz shout out at the pseudo killer. But
hold on, Cedrick. Do you want? I mean, you got some time. Do you want me to drop that link?
Well, yeah, drop the link. Drop the link.
All
Drop
right.
the link.
All right. Drop the link. But anybody that comes up here, you be well behaved. All right. Just be well behaved. Cedrick, you be well behaved as well.
I'm gonna try.
So you can answer to some of this stuff. What's up, House of Consciousness?
What up, sir?
All right, let me see here. Okay, so for those of y'all saying he's running, don't look like he is. So let's see who hits the link. Let's go. Keep it civil. All right. Let's see who's going to be the first one to hit the link. We are waiting. I need some of that Jeopardy music while we wait. Okay. Well, we got a pseudo killer, but what about some of these people in the chat calling you a liar and a disingenuous and this, that, and the third? Where they at? Why don't they hit the link? Okay. Where they at? Well,
yo.
We got more support for Cedrick Ortega, who's coming on here to tell us
what it do. Pseudo killer official kid.
What's happening? What up, Tiff? What up, Sid?
What up? What up? We're being crucified because we're not 1,000%.
I see you slaying them, even in death. You still killing them. That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
We might have a taker.
What up, Miss Tiff? What up, Kent? What up, Sad?
What up, Savior?
Are you ready?
I know.
Go ahead.
I'm waiting for one of them to. I'm waiting for one of them to show some information to refute how you cleaned up your mistakes and things like that. So please, one of them show how he's lying or he's making things up.
I'm waiting.
All right.
Yeah, they
So
ain't.
okay, so we got okay, so there's no, you cannot be on camera and smoking. I'm sorry. So if you're smoking, I'm gonna ask you to stop smoking or not. Yeah, that's just kind of one of our policies.
Yeah, no
All
smoking
right.
on camera.
So I got backstage, I got Elder Sonetter, I got Super Wavy, I got the People's Champ, and I got Hey Roo the Hitman. So y'all know I don't host on a regular basis. So all I'm asking is that everybody behave themselves and be civil. All
Yeah,
right.
Miss Tiff,
I
you
don't
pass
want
the
to do the
keys,
show.
and she'll put you in the back without a doubt.
What's up, Si?
Peace to the goat himself, Si. What it
Peace,
do?
peace, Miss Tiffany. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Sonetta?
All right. I like your new hairstyle.
Thank
I was
you.
like shocked that you cut the locks. I was like, wow, this.
I didn't cut them. I took them down one at a time.
Oh wow, yeah, but I like your new style. It's nice.
Sir, thank you.
I just came here to talk to Cedrick for a minute. Cedrick, brother, you talk real good. You know we love you over here, but you running from Nepal. Why you debating everybody else, but you skipping over Nepal, brother? What's up with that?
Listen, Si, you know I defended the Lions King belt. I'm gonna do my next presentation responding to Nepal, and if she wants, she can meet me over there at the Paradigm Shift. Come take my belt. You know, we do big time debates. We can talk about a setness of big time, but that's a neutral debate platform. And she can come where they got 3 neutral judges and try to take my belt. We can have the debate, but we're going to do it over there. But first, I'm going to do my presentation responding to Nepal. And if she wants to debate me after that, we can get it in.
The HOK is neutral as well, bro.
I know.
What are you talking about? I don't have to be the moderator. We can set up a moderator and everybody. You see?
Yeah, we're gonna do it over
Set up
here.
a moderator.
We're gonna have Nepal. We're gonna have Nepal come over here and debate. I'm over here.
Nah, I'm not. Who's that? Who's that talking?
It's Kent.
That's
We're gonna
good.
have Nepal come over here and debate him over here on the pseudo killing.
Nah, you ain't gonna have Nepal coming nowhere.
Yeah, she'll come through.
Okay, I can hear it.
She'll definitely come through.
Nah, and you can come through. What you scared? You scared to leave home?
I'm debating on the road.
Leave home, brother.
I'm defending my Lions Den belt.
Yo, you know what?
He could come and take it back to
y'all the real pseudo killers, you will go and debate on the toughest environment, brother.
In the back.
So that was totally disrespectful.
In the
but
box.
y'all disrespect him like that because to me, he's a man. Men respect men. You know what I'm saying? No, where's that coming from? I don't know that dude.
I don't even see him in the chat.
Peace to you, Cedric. Peace to you, Tiffany. And let me go ahead and let y'all rock out.
I'm
Peace
sorry.
out.
Good to see you. Have a good weekend.
Right.
Have a good one.
Sorry about that. Okay. So I'm gonna bring up Honey Clark. Okay, and I know Super Wavy wants to get in here. Do you want to speak before Honey, or you want to wait till after that, Super Wavy?
Can you bring Kent back too?
If Kent come back, but I don't want no fighting. I don't want all that cussing because we won't be able to keep the show up.
I got you. Peace, Aunt Tiffany. Peace, Aunt Juju. Peace, Uncle Sid. Great breakdown, Uncle Sid. Man, you know how you get down. You know you do your thing.
You know.
Okay. Anybody else want to say? I think maybe she's getting her.
JJ said he in the back.
Yeah, JJ. I'm bringing him up too, but JJ, be cool. I'm telling you.
We're gonna be good. We're gonna be good.
JJ, I think JJ. No, JJ. I just hadn't put you up yet. You can come back. Come back,
JJ.
You can come back, but be cool, JJ.
Oh wait. Oh, there we go.
There you go. Go ahead.
So, yeah. So, what was you saying about people being ignorant? I'm trying to understand that part because your pseudo quotes, right? We did 7 slides of yours.
You understand what
we looked up all of the quotes, and none
Stop.
of those quotes are in the books.
I'm done.
We looked them up live. We brought the books on. We looked up all of those quotes. It wasn't just one. It was 7 slides. Why did we do that? Because you said we don't read. because you said we was ignorant, right? So we showed you why you don't read clearly because you were quoting stuff wrong.
I guess you didn't watch the presentation, right? Or it went over your head. Which one is it?
No. This presentation has nothing to do with what we did.
Oh, it has everything to do with what you did.
No, this presentation was a nice presentation about a topic.
Your presentation was completely fraudulent. That's the end of the day.
Okay, so then you answer to the presentation.
I pointed out, like pseudo. The claim pseudo means don't exist, fraudulent, or make believe. None of that is here. Right? Because again, a paraphrase is a summary or a summation of what is actually being said. Now, if my paraphrasing or that particular piece of text was completely inerrant, didn't reflect what the author was saying, was a complete made up stuff, that's pseudo. So nothing about my work was pseudo. And coming on the pseudo killers and insisting it's pseudo reflects again your ignorance.
Okay, so it was pseudo. Because none of those quotes exist. Those quotes are not quotes from those authors. You went on to your debate and said that this person said this, that this author said this in this book, that it's on this page in this book multiple times, not just one. We went through all of them.
The same point. Books. The same point.
They don't exist. That is why they're pseudo quotes, because they don't exist.
Pseudo quotes? They're not quotes.
They do not exist.
They're not quotes.
You said they said it in the debate.
And I said right here, the error that I made was using paraphrases as quotes, and I doubled down. I said it over and over. So again, to call those statements pseudo is ignorant because they're not.
You just agreed that they're pseudo.
Oh shit! Wait. Okay, I'm good.
Did you agree that they're pseudo, or did you say that you agreed that you made a mistake and you were owning up to it? I
was owning up to the fact that my paraphrases aren't direct quotes, and you need to say paraphrasing. Right. However, when analyzing my paraphrases, they are all accurate and represent the author's work. So to call them pseudo is in itself pseudo.
Okay.
So okay.
What are you saying?
Did so we went through. He in his debate, he said these authors said these things. He was quoting them.
Okay, and he
just now that's pseudo. So to no. To come say, well, I didn't. Oh, well, yeah, I was wrong about that. They're not quotes. They this, that, and the other. So they're pseudo quotes. They're not really quotes, like you said they were, right? And like you quoted them to be. That was one. And then two, yes, he did lie on the author. And we showed that when we read what the author said versus what he said, what the author said.
Can you give us an example of that?
Yeah, one of them, he put ... right? And let me find the slide that he did it. He did it. He put ... and then went past the part where she said that they were the same. And then put something else and then said, well, this author is saying that they weren't the same.
Okay.
So hold on, let me find that. I mean, we showed this. Like, we literally looked it up live, read it live, and showed it live.
I would like to see it also.
Yeah, it'd be good to see that, like a visual of that. That'd be great.
1 second.
I mean, I know you probably don't have it on you, but, that'd be cool to see a visual.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
And I'll give you a second if you want to look for anything, but I'm gonna go ahead and let okay, JJ, I'm bringing you on. What you got to say, what you got to share.
All right, peace and blessings, pseudo killers. I am monthly subscribers, community of skeptics. I'm in the green. But yeah, I just came over here, man, to if y'all want to see a real champion debate like me and Cedrick, come check me out in about 45 minutes. I'm finna lay the smackdown on this guy. Misery. This guy running around here talking about Native Americans and Shemites and all this. Bro, I'm finna bust your head with science. I'm letting you know. So you come in here with all that little biblical mumbo jumbo, you're in some goddamn trouble. I'm letting you know. You're talking about the Israelis in America and the Red Seas in California. Don't even come in front of me with that. You ain't gonna be able to win either by the biblical narrative or scientific. I'm just letting you know. And let me say one more thing before I get ready for this goddamn funeral for this guy. Y'all come check us out on Super Wavy Channel in the next 30 minutes, man. It's going down. Now hold on, let me address on that. Coming over there and debate. A real champ. Come on, don't censor. No, come on. I'm not being mean.
I know, but it's not here.
I'll address it. I address it on Wavy Channel. I got to get sensitive. Call his paper champ. Come on, man.
You cannot address somebody who's not up here to comment back. That's just wild. Come on, JJ. Again, like I said, I'd like to keep the show up and not edit all this out. Like, we got to have some kind of decorum. Okay? That's all I'm asking.
Yo, JJ.
Have anything else to say besides that?
Hey, I'm out. Anyway,
Yo, JJ.
Come on, watch. I'll come and watch it.
Talk to the goddamn Lions, then. All this hush, goddamn paper. Hey, get some bull.
This is why it'd be so hard doing these shows. People just want to wild out. Just make it hard for us to have a good show. All right, who's next? Honey Clark, Super Wave.
Can you share my screen for a second, Miss Tiff?
Okay, hold on. Got you. And there's somebody else here. I don't know who this person is.
All right, this is a particular slide. This is what they focused their whole argument about, and I kept referring back to this slide during the debate, right? Now, like I just illustrated, this quote is an accurate reflection of the first chapter, which accumulates on page 23. If this summary was on top here, no problem.
We don't see what you're trying to show.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought it was sharing. Hold up. I think you stopped sharing. You got to try it again.
Oh, let me do it again. Present share. Boom. This is the you see phenomena.astrology.emerge. This is me. This is my summary, which we just ran through the whole breakdown of this particular phrase right here. I told Honey it's my summary. You're not going to find this verbatim back in the text. My bad. I have a whole bunch of quotes and I'm shooting, and boom. I reference this as a quote. Everything ChatGPT said, as long as you illustrate that it's not a direct quote, but that it's a summary or how you call that, a paraphrasing, right? I just went through the ChatGPT because they said I put it through ChatGPT. Is this so you have it here real time? And to insist on calling it pseudo is ridiculous. You're doubling down because you're just simply wrong. None of my statements are pseudo. They accurately reflect the work. The conclusion was, now I'm going to stop sharing. We're going to go right back there. Again.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go.
Hold up the part in my
Here we go. Let's look at it. Divinatory use of celestial phenomena, astrology, emerged as a specific system of interpretation distinct from mythological and theological ideas about the heaven. Claimed as Francesca Roberg, 2004, page 23. Verdict: accurate paraphrase, not pseudo, but not a direct quote.
What?
How many times do you need me to admit that? This is not a direct quote from page 23 of the Heavenly Writings, 2004, but it does accurately reflect Rauschenberg's argument and position, especially as developed in chapter 1. Conclusion: your paraphrasing is a sound paraphrase of Rauschenberg's arguments on page 23 and surrounding discussion. As long as it's not presented as a direct quote, you can safely cite it as a summary of her position. Or, better clarify, paraphrase. So I admitted to it. Oh, nope, it's not a quote. That's my bad. But is it accurate? 100%. Does it reflect the work from chapter 1, which accumulates on page 23? 100%. Did you know that? Yes, because I told you so. What is pseudo about it? Nothing. What it isn't a quote. That's wrong. Not pseudo. That's an error. That's not pseudo. Does that statement accurately reflect the work? Yes. Does it address the point I was driving home correctly? Yes. Yes and yes. So again, to double down here and say it is pseudo, you either don't know what the word is, how it's applied, or you're just actually being pseudo.
Okay, Honey Clark, would you like to respond? And you want me to share your screen, and then I'm gonna bring up Heru the Hitman. Are you ready? Okay, maybe she stepped away. I'll give her a second. I don't see her screen. Okay, while we wait for Honey Clark to return.
So what I'm seeing is is people don't understand how you can accidentally quote something when you're actually trying to paraphrase.
I don't want to speak for Cedrick, but it sounds like, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think he mistakenly said it was a quote when it was actually
a paraphrase.
Right.
And it happens all the time. You paraphrase and sometimes you quote things and you quote people, and sometimes you don't give the person you quoting credit. Mm-hmm. Even when you're speaking, you may quote somebody. Do you always shout out the person you're quoting? When you know, because sometimes you may not remember the person's name. But we're not talking about speaking, we're talking about presenting. So, again, if you don't understand how citations and paraphrasing works, then and how those mistakes can be entertained, then that's your mistake. You should take a writing class, a few writing classes, Hemi the Barbarian or Big Hemi, so you can understand how you can make those mistakes when you're writing a 500 or 500-page essay or something.
Okay, but Sabio, let me go. He says, but he didn't quote them. I think we're clear on that. He didn't quote them. He shouldn't. So Cedrick, you should not have put the quote, right?
He should not have put the quotations around it.
Clear that he didn't quote them. He summarized something that he read.
Yeah,
the problem is he put quotes in a place where they should not have been.
Yes.
Bingo.
So that's wrong. My bad.
Fabricated. That's not the problem, because he also presented it as a quote.
Because it had quotations around
it. It has quotations around it, and it says it's on page 23.
So that's a mistake. That is a mistake.
Counterfeit.
Well, Cedrick, do you want to respond to how you cited it on an actual page number when it wasn't actually there on the page?
Yeah, like I guess I mean, how many times do I need to say the same thing? It's not a quote. It's a summary, right? And it summarizes the work which ends on page 23, which is the ending of the first chapter.
Yeah.
And again, does it accurately reflects the sentiments being presented? Yes, it is an accurate paraphrasing. It is an accurate paraphrasing of her first chapter. Like you need to see it again. You talked about ChatGPT. I pushed it in there. I put it in there. It says what it says. What more do you want to dispute? It is not pseudo.
We said ChatGPT is wrong.
I said it 100 times. It is not a quote. It is not a quote. But it is a summary of a chapter 1, which is making the point that I'm making. Ritual astronomy is not astrology. You can't get around that.
Yeah.
So if you want to insist on it being pseudo for your best interest, go ahead. But pseudo would mean that my quote or my paraphrasing doesn't accurately reflect what the author is trying to say. And you read it there for yourself. Does my quote, does my paraphrasing accurately reflect Should have said it was a summary? Yes. Using it as a quote is wrong? Yes. Is it pseudo? No.
People, and that's where people get stuck
go
at
over
right
the
there.
same thing. Like, there's nothing more for me to say about that.
All right. So I'll just say, just from the perspective of writing and editing, sometimes when we don't have other people look over our work before we present it, we can have some, some things in there that other people will catch and kind of get you for it. It seems like that's what happened here. If he would have had other, I don't know who he had look at it, but maybe just having a second or third person look at
your
it.
info is fake.
And that happens. That happens. So I don't know what people are trying to say his intentions were. And so they're hanging on this. It was pseudo because it was a mistake. Okay. I mean, okay.
Somebody said it
I have
was
more, but I'm trying to queue up the book so I can show how he's lying right now. But you could go ahead around though.
No, all right. So let's go with Heru the Hitman.
Hey, peace, Tiffany. Peace to everybody out here, man. Glad to be on the show for a quick second. What I was going to say is, my brother here, I was speaking with him a little bit earlier, and I think what's happening is that we're using terms like we're.
Okay. I don't know what happened to you. We don't hear you no more. All right. Maybe he got a call or something. I don't know. Okay. I'm Silky. Do you want to talk? Your name is just probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a quick 2 cents in it. I ain't gonna be long at all. All I'm gonna say is I did see the presentation that they did over his offense, over his information in the debate, and it was just funny. That's and I'm gonna just leave it at that's all I got.
That's all you got? Okay, you don't want to tell us why it was funny?
I'm gonna just say it was hilarious. Yeah, hey, that's all I got.
Okay. All right, Sad. Did you have anything you wanted to respond to anything before I bring it back to Heru? I think he's ready.
No, Miss Steve, I'm good.
Okay, cool. All right. So Heru, are you ready?
Yes, my bad. I had to actually put my phone on the charger.
I thought it was something like that. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was weird, man. But no. I was saying that, as far as just to lead this thing off, I think that the word pseudo is oftentimes now being thrown around out of context. And we have to start applying these terms where they actually deserve to be. I don't think that my brother comes across as pseudo. He's a pseudo killer. So of course, I don't expect him or any other pseudo killer to come out here with anything pseudo. What I think here is people are hitting the petty button, and it's like you're picking apart little things that really doesn't change the outcome of the debate one way or another. Because at the end of the day, whether he paraphrased or did a direct quote, it's still actually what he did is he didn't even paraphrase. What he did is he gave it was a summary. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, these things can happen when you, like you just said moments ago, when you don't have someone doing editorial work on your actual presentation. Mm-hmm. So things can go past you. You know what I mean? It's what that's called is human common error. So people need to lower their shoulders, stop getting so excited about these things, and look. There's nothing wrong with saying, "Hey, brother, you know what? This is what I found," and you could have had that private conversation with them. I don't see why we have to make a public spectacle out of all this stuff all the time. It just, for me, I don't know. It's something that I'm starting to slowly but surely disassociate myself with. But that's all I got for now.
Yeah, it can get kind of crazy. But I appreciate that feedback. Honey Clark is ready to. I'm going to share her screen.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
See, this is the reason why we said in our presentation not to use Chat GPT. Because not only did it give you pseudo quotes, you just said that page 23, which is right here in the book, right, was the end of the first chapter, right? So let's just see if it's the end of the first chapter. Wait, let me see. Oh shit, it's not. Let's keep going. Oh, look, it's more. Let's keep going. Oh, yeah, it's more. So, how did chapter 23 become the culmination of the first chapter when I'm still scrolling and just got down to 1.2 on page 29?
Do you want to respond?
ChatGPT just told you that you just read that was the end of the first chapter. However, we see it's not.
Okay, I'll let him respond. Go ahead, Cedrick.
The work I did, again, the information I took is chapter 1, and the information accumulates on page 23. Clear. So when you read up to there, you do your analysis, what you're going to get, there's where she's making the distinction. There's where she's making the distinction. It accumulates there. Like, what the point you're trying to make, though? Like, I don't get the point you're trying to make. Is my quote an accurate reflection of her position? Yes or no?
No, this book doesn't agree with you at all.
Wait. She doesn't make a distinction between ritual astronomy and astrology.
No, she actually just talks about how today, how we view different things today.
I'm good. I'm done. I'm really done.
I'm just now on chapter 2 right now. We're on the 44th page.
Continue reading. Continue reading.
I'm just saying. That wasn't true, right?
So again,
I can take this one now.
So
I can share another one. Hold on.
Let him respond. Go ahead, Cedrick.
So again, your paraphrasing is a sound paraphrasing. You go up here. Babylon astrology is not an attempt to construct a casual model of nature, but a divinatory hermeneutic based on sign. That's page 25, right? Page 22. It's here. Page 20 on and around page 23 is where she clearly separates celestial. Man, look, this is pointless at this point in time. Again, I guess it's obvious by now what's going on, right? So you're trying to make a point which you can't make, especially as developed in chapter 1. Here's what Roseberg says on and around page 23. She clearly separates celestial divination from theological cosmology and mythological worldview. She argues that Babylonian celestial divination developed into a separate system of knowledge, one that was systematically technical and based on interpretive rules, even if it remained theologically grounded. She explains that astrology, particularly horoscopic astrology, was a later and distinct development, emerged as a more formalized, individualized, focused practice. For example, from nearby pages, the idea that the gods communicated the intentions and judgments of human beings through celestial signs marked the point of departure from Babylonian astrology. That's on page 22. Couple of pages further on page 25, astrology is not an attempt to construct a casual model of nature, but a divinatory hermeneutics based on science. That's page 25. These passages support the paraphrase conclusion you drew that astrology as divination was a specific interpretive system distinct from general religious cosmology or mythic explanations of the heavens. Now, I suggest you go back and watch my explanation, my presentation that I did on the difference between astrology and ritual astronomy. Then you would understand how inerrant you are right now. You can safely cite it as a summary of a position, or even better, if you paraphrase from Rothsberg's Heavenly Writing, page 23. Again, I am not going to discuss this any further. I made my point. I'm done with this argument. I ain't discussing it any further. Like, to me, show is over. I'm done. Because you will continue going around this unnecessary circle, right? When the point I made was clear. Okay,
you got to let Honey respond.
Information pseudo is bogus. I don't have to do nothing. This pseudo killer platform.
All right. Okay.
When I say it's done, it's over. It's over. You want to go run to your show and continue to do another 50 shows? Good.
Stop running. You wanted to talk.
Y'all know I
From
don't.
edits,
You know I
from
don't.
the edits, Hemi. We running from the edits.
Stop running.
I mean, I got the page up here that goes against what you just said in her book.
Cedric, just for the people who haven't spoke, I want to know if you want to chat. You want to chat with Hemi?
Not
And
really.
then Melvin and Hemi just came on the panel.
They can have their say, but I'm good as far as that concerned. I don't need to respond. I'm good.
All right, here you go. Hemi, you can unmute yourself.
He not gonna respond because he know he's caught. This is what happens when you constantly try to position yourself as better than, smarter than, more intellectual than, and the toughest debater around. When you get your stuff get fact checked and you look like silly, you trying to double back now and say, "Oh, well, I just made a mistake." No, you shouldn't be making no mistakes. You claim that you're a better debater than everybody out here. So
I shouldn't make no mistake. You're right. Beat me up. I made a mistake. I lost because
it wasn't a mistake. It
What's your
wasn't no
point?
damn. It wasn't
What's
no
your
damn
point?
mistake.
It
You
wasn't
tried
a
to
point.
mislead people.
You feel
for
you
everybody
hurt
out
right
there,
now, right? You hurt right now
let me
because you got
finish.
egg in your
I'm not
face.
hurt.
The whole point you were trying to make, you can't
Not
make.
hurt.
I'm
Just
listening.
listen.
I don't need these
Just
people
listen,
on my
bro.
platform to stand on me like this. So please, let's just end the show. I'm good.
Nah, I don't try to end it. Let me
No,
make
no,
my
no,
point.
no.
I mean, we was respectful. He can't handle the truth, y'all. Come on, let's go. Yeah, we can do it on our own platform.
Can he show a source? Can he show a source? Can he show a source that we can read to prove him wrong? Forget all this trying to bash his internet. Can he
I can show the source he's talking about. I have it queued up right here.
Can we read it? Can we read it?
Yes, it's right here.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
can Cedric show that he has all of the books that he quote unquote made a quote from? Can he show that?
No, I don't have all the books. I have Heavenly Writings and I have Antiquity from John Evans.
So how are you quoting from a book that you don't have?
Because you can pull up these resources online.
Oh, so you have them online? Could you show that you have them online?
What?
Yes.
You want me to go show all this?
Can you show that you have those sources online?
I don't have to do that.
I can show that I have those sources online.
Okay, fine. You can go ahead, but that's not the idea here tonight. I was addressing the claims you were making.
Okay, but you said you could show them online. So could you show the people that you have them online?
Mel. Okay, that's who that is. That's Mel. He may not have it right now. He might.
I understand he doesn't have it right now, but if he used it,
I showed y'all before the two main sources that I got.
Okay, but you use more than two. You use more than two.
You saw the two PDFs.
So can you show? Can you show that you have the other ones that you claim?
Arthur Dorenbarger's work, that's the book I got. The James Evans, that's online. You want me? I just pull up online what I need. Like, well, these are open resources, bro.
Yes. Can you show that you have James Evans' work online?
Anyway, you saw that.
I can show that I have them online. It takes me just.
So now we're moving the goalpost, and we continue to move the goalpost because what? Because everything I put was factual, was correct. I paraphrase is not a quote. My bad. How many times I gotta say it? Fact of the matter is, even when I summarized the work, it was accurate. You just read it. You know what I did? I put the whole thing, my whole presentation in ChatGPT, and I presented exactly what ChatGPT said. ChatGPT pointed out that I misattributed a quote to a wrong source. Is that the work of ChatGPT? Like, y'all grasping at straws, y'all being ridiculous, and I know why. But go right ahead. Do yourself a favor. But the point you're trying to make, the point y'all trying to make, we saw right here. We saw, everybody saw tonight.
I think they're saying that ChatGPT was a reference in a book.
Bro, you put the whole book in the thing. And then I put the quote in that I put. And put it right there. What? Is this quote, is the quote correct? Yeah, perfectly paraphrased of this area. You read what you need, boom, here, there, boom. You see this different, that different. Okay, it's different. But this here, this supports my argument. You can't find anything that refuted because I'm going to pull up a presentation with scholar after scholar accurately describing ritual astronomy is not astrology.
So
You
not
can't get
word
around.
for word.
You can't get around it. You
All
can't get
right.
around it. So with
So
that,
the
Miss
only
Tiff,
other.
I'm good.
All right. Thank you for you don't want Keon. Okay, the last person, Keon, did you have anything that you wanted to I think Cedric is done, y'all. So we ain't gonna be
Monkey
adding
man.
to the people. But Keon, did you have something to say? Keon. I guess Keon is not at his desk or whatever.
Hey,
All right.
can I close out with something real quick?
Sure.
Okay, I really one thing that I have observed here is that Cedric, man, you did your thing during that debate, against your opponent. And I think what's happening now is that people are just trying to find tidbits to push the goalposts further than what this debate was really truly about. You see what I'm saying? So now we've come down to the point of we're just discussing sources and you know what I'm saying? It's becoming like in my opinion, like pretty childish back and forth. Like it's catty. You know what I'm saying? And this is it's left the intellectual debate realm. So honestly, from what I'm observing, bro, man, we're gonna keep killing these pseudos out here, man. I don't know.
You cut out.
I just want to make a little
The debate.
advertisement.
You win the debate, and then you get people that want to keep pushing the goalposts and keep moving the goalposts, keep moving the goalposts. And here's the thing: you didn't debate them; you debated someone else. So at the end of the day, I think we gotta lay off the petty button, y'all.
Yeah. With that being said, I want to say this. Stay tuned. Like I already said, I got a response in the chambers for Nepal because she's been calling me out. We're gonna address the claims of consciousness outside of a living body. We're gonna discuss what Dr. Grayson actually said, and then my new 5-part series is in the waiting. We should have been doing that tonight. However, we needed to clean up some misinformation that's out there. And with that, I'm gonna tell you to tune in. Miss Tiff tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah, stay tuned. Tomorrow we'll be back. I'm gonna do that response to Nepal, and after that, the day after that, we probably get kick off our new series. But at that, I want to thank everyone for coming out. Thank you very much. Haters gonna hate, and if we don't get the pushback, that means we ain't doing what we're supposed to do. At the end of the day, I think I clarified my position. I won't make that mistake again. I learned something. After I prepare my presentation, I'm going to let ChatGPT check it for me.
And pass it through some of your PK.
Yeah, and of course I pass it to the PK. It would have picked out a couple of those errors that are made. But again, everything I paraphrased or summarized was accurate, was on point, was supported by other scholars. It wasn't just one point. And again, tonight I did a whole presentation on breaking down the difference between what you call that thing, ritual astronomy and astrology. I'm tired, folks. So anyway,
thank you all for joining us.
Good night. We out.
Good night, family. Peace.
Peace.
A pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer, I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. Pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer, I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling. Who do you believe in? People bringing misinformation when that information ain't disinformation. That's disinformation. Gotta know the difference in information. know the truth of. You bringing malinformation to blast, then you the Ku Klux. Like say, don't talk me to death, bro, what the proof of? Good juju chillin', why you wanna go way bad juju up? Shalom boy got the tank in the cut. I'm in Sosa World plotting on the kick though with Kent. Come in Tiffany gave me the pseudo names on the list and said went and got the low. Anthony got him in the scope, Gullah and Gozy make sure DNA ain't a problem for them folks. Cause a pseudo gon' die, they saw us. I'm a pseudo killer until